What's going on with you, family? It's your chill brother from another. Still out here handling my biz so I can take care of my future kids, man. You already know what time it is. It's time for another episode of the Champions Lounge. Man, listen, I need you guys to continue to support the Champions Lounge by going to Spotify, Anchor, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and the YouTube channel is the Champions Lounge, where, listen, you'll find exclusive content each and every solitary week from yours truly, where, listen, we're going to make sure we give you that barbershop talk, but make sure you leave with that Champions walk. All right, so this week, man, this particular show, we're going to focus on one particular word: recalibrate. That's going to be part of our championship speech of the week, so y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for all of that as we proceed to give you what you need right here on the Champions. Now, listen, if you're new to the show, let me go ahead and give you the 4-on-1, give you the rundown on how we get down and how we get busy right here on TCL. Listen, man, we're going to get things going with the opening tip as we go and get the B-ball bouncing around the NBA and give you some news, some rumors around the National Basketball Association. Then we're going to move the chains, and we're going to move the chains around the NFL and get things going from around the gridiron as we're going to give you some news and what's been going on around the NFL. Then we're going to get to one of my favorite parts of the show with Stop Playing, where we're going to give you the good, the bad, and the funny from the week that was around the world of sports. And then we're going to close the book and close the chapter on this particular show by giving you the championship speech of the week, where we get you fearless, focused, and ferocious, so that you can get to your goals for the week to come. Listen, we got all that and more, because, listen, every time I touch the mic, it's a thriller. I come through in the clutch. Call me a pacer, Reggie Miller. It be like that, just like that. And listen, it's time for yet another episode of the Champions Lounge. Let's go. What's happening, my good people? Once again, back in full attack mode. It's your chill brother from another. Kyle Turner back again, representing the Champions Lounge, man. Where, listen, I appreciate you guys riding this thing out with me. Man, 2021 is almost over. It's mind-blowing how fast this year has gone by. But listen, it gives us another opportunity to spend time together. But with all that said, man, I need you guys, don't just be looking at your brother. I need you guys to be participators in this thing called the Champions Lounge by going to Spotify, Anchor, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. The YouTube channel is the Champions Lounge, where, listen, again, we're going to make sure we give you exclusive content each and every solitary week. Well, we're going to make sure you have that barbershop talk, but make sure you leave with that Champions walk, man. With all that being said, enough of the fluff. Let's get right into the stuff, y'all. Let's get right into the opening tip. Don't be out here double dribbling out here before the game gets going, man. Listen, the opening tip, we're going to get things going. We're going to go out to the West again, just like kind of we did last week, if you will, the great Northwest. And we're not talking about Seattle. We're talking about the Portland Trailblazers. Right now, the Portland Trailblazers in a team of crisis. It's a lot going on in Portland right now. They just fired their GM, Neil O'Shea, after investigations into workplace misconduct. And my man got up out of here in Portland. So the Portland Trailblazers have no GM. They have an interim GM at the moment. They got Dame dealing with an injury. CJ McCollum just found out he got a collapsed lung. Crazy stuff. Thoughts and prayers out to CJ McCollum, hoping that everything is rectified within his particular health diagnosis at the moment. But we want to focus the thing, the opening tip, just a tad bit on Dame Lillard, because time is ticking. It really is ticking. My man is 31 years old. He then gave his whole entire career to Rip City. And listen, I respect the fact my man is a loyalist. I respect the fact that Dame Lillard is like, yo, I'm not going to be out here like these other fools out here and I'm going to go ahead and gang up and grab me a big three so I can try to win the chip. Yo, I'm not about that life. I'm going to run with the guys that I feel comfortable with, and I feel like we can get it done. But at the same time, the clock is ticking. It's ticking on my man's prime right now. And, with the Portland Trailblazers sitting at 11-14 in the West. Now, listen, a lot of things can happen in the Western Conference. The Western Conference is it's in disarray. Everybody other than the Phoenix Suns or, the Golden State Warriors and the Utah Jazz and potentially the Denver Nuggets, everybody else is in a state of flux. I don't know what's going on. Memphis doesn't have Ja Morant. The Lakers, they old. I mean, capital OLD, all caps. No cap, okay? With the Lakers right now. But the Portland Trailblazers, they're not a team that can contend. Let's face the facts. And for the Portland Trailblazers, in order for this team to flourish, it's time to pull the plug on Dame Lillard being in Portland. And I know some of y'all are like, yo, my man is definitely not down for long-term relationships. And listen, I'm not here talking about that. That's not. The reality is the Portland Trailblazers are not going to beat the Phoenix Suns in 7-game series. They're not going to beat the Golden State Warriors in a 7-game series. They're not going to beat the Utah Jazz in a 7-game series. No matter where they're ranked, the Portland Trailblazers do not have enough to contend in the Western Conference. Now, listen, Dame has put out there like, yo, I wouldn't mind teaming up with Ben Simmons. But are the Philadelphia 76ers willing to trade for C.J. McCollum over Dame Lillard? I don't think so. I don't think so, man. Even though Daryl Morey, and the Philadelphia 76ers brass, they kind of got like, we would rather have Dame over CJ. But at the same time, Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum both need to find their way out of Portland to expedite a rebuild because this team is not going anywhere. I respect the fact that the Indiana Pacers, they realize, like, yo, we're spinning our wheels. Portland has to come to that same reality. Yo, we're spinning our wheels. We didn't try to make this thing work for 6 or 7 years. We're in the business, which is the NBA, to try to win a championship. It's not getting done with the group that they have right now. You're spending all this money on Norman Powell. You gave CJ the 3-year, $100 million contract. Dame is due for a 2-year extension as well. Yo, it's time to pull the plug, and it's time for Dame to find his way out of Rip City. Philadelphia, come calling. Potentially. This is a dark horse team. San Antonio, I mentioned them last week. They got a lot of cap. You got a lot of cap space. They got some young guys that, Portland could want. They could facilitate a rebuild in that way. Dame, San Antonio possibly. You bring in Ben Simmons. Got a nice little duo down in San Antonio if you want to try that. You got Philly. It's a plethora of teams that wouldn't mind the services of Damian Lillard instead of him wasting away his career and his prime in Rip City. Don't be Kevin Garnett. Don't be Karl Malone. Don't be Allen Iverson that spent all their career, most of their career, tied down to one franchise and didn't get a ring. Is it time for Dame to find his way up out of Rip City? Yo, let your brother know what's up. Leave your comments in the show notes, and I'll be sure to answer that on next week's show. All right? We're going to switch gears. We're going to go out east, okay? We're going to go out to Milwaukee, where the Milwaukee Bucks, I believe, they're not getting enough credit that they deserve as being the champs. The champ is here. Yeah, the champ is here. Right now, the Milwaukee Bucks, they've won 9 of their last 10. Giannis is doing Greek freak-like things, okay? Averaging 27, almost 11 and a half rebounds, 6 dimes a contest, shooting the ball about 32% from three-point range. My man been doing the whole shebang right now. Chris Middleton coming back from COVID. He's averaging 18, 5, and 5. You got Drew Holiday with 15.5, 5, and 6 assists a game. They account for 55% of the Milwaukee Bucks offense. In a conference where Brooklyn is going to get a lot of love because you got Kevin Durant, the greatest scorer probably in NBA history. You got James Harden. You got that collective duo right now in Brooklyn. They're sitting pretty at the number 1 spot in the Eastern Conference. You got the Chicago Bulls up and coming as well. Their influx of, their free agents that they brung in, of DeMar DeRozan. You brung in Lonzo Ball. You brung in Vucevic last season at the trade deadline. This team in Chicago, the Windy City, the winds of change have come back to Chicago, okay? But at the end of the day, personally speaking, I feel like the Milwaukee Bucks still have the tools necessary to possibly run this thing back, okay? They can run it back. They average 110 points per game. They rebound the basketball, the best team in the NBA in rebounds at 48 rebounds per contest. They hold their opponents to 106 points per game. And this team knows how to win because of their championship moxie, okay? They know how to make sure that when the rubber meets the road and the pressure is at its highest, this team has come through. Sitting at 16-9 in the East. They got a couple of games back of Brooklyn. Maybe a game out from Chicago right now. Giannis keep doing what he's doing. They brung in Boogie. I'm so happy that they brung in DeMarcus Cousins because my man is still capable of doing things to help teams win. Brook Lopez goes down for the season with back surgery. Thoughts and prayers out with him, hoping for a speedy recovery. But at the same time, Milwaukee's kind of getting discounted, just like they did last season before they made a run to the NBA Finals. This team is still kind of getting the backhand slap of a team that maybe last season may have been a fluke. And I'm pretty sure all the players on Milwaukee kind of like, we still not getting no love. We still ain't getting talked about like that. People still want to ride on this whole Brooklyn train, the Lakers, all these different star power that they got. We got the 2-time MVP. We got the defensive player of the year. We got an animal as our cornerstone in Giannis. Happy belated birthday as well to Giannis, number 27. Live it up, my guy. But listen, Milwaukee has all the tools necessary to run this thing back, but they're still not getting their due. They're really not. 25 games into the season, this team is still kind of, in the background. They're not really on the thoughts of many analysts at all right now. ESPN and Stephen A. Smith, they're all enamored with Brooklyn and, oh my gosh, Chicago. What's going on with New York? The Knicks, they're not playing like the team that they played last season. You bring in Kemba Walker, you bring in Evan Fournier, and y'all playing like trash. Just straight garbage. But to me, it's not enough love being shown to Milwaukee Bucks, and they have all the tools necessary. Seriously, if y'all keep sleeping on Milwaukee, they're going to find a way to run this thing back and go back to back, just like the Detroit Pistons did back in 89-90 when everybody started discounting them out, and they found a way to run it back to back on them. All right? Milwaukee, are they getting enough love in the East, and do they have enough to run this thing back? I do feel like Milwaukee, at the end of the season, is going to find a way to be number 1 in the Eastern Conference. James Harden is a liability. He can't stay healthy to save his life right now. He's going to find a way to get hurt at some point in time throughout this season with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is going to have to carry a heavy load once again at some point in time, especially with no Kyrie. All right? Milwaukee's going to be number 1 in the East. Y'all keep sleeping on them. They're going to find a way to win.